Hello, 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 YouTube world. Welcome to For Your CNAs Live weekly question and answer session where every Thursday at 3, we come on and talk to you about CNA training, testing, workplace issues, whatever you've got for CNA. And we welcome your questions. So when you come in, give me a hi or a wave. Let me know that you're here and drop your questions down in the chat, and I'll get to as many today as I can. And make sure you subscribe and ring the bell so that you're notified each week when we go live. So that way you can join us right away. It's simple, one click and you're in. So today, as I'm waiting for you guys to come in, I usually give a little mini lesson. And those of you who frequently, come to the show, you already know this. But for new people, when I first start, I give a little mini lesson, and then we get into the question and answer session. So today, I want to talk about a comment that was actually left on one of my YouTube videos this week. And this comment came from Claudette Chung. And Claudette asks, how many skills do you get on the skills test? And this is a very common question. A lot of people don't know how the test is structured or what to expect. So I want to talk to you just a little bit today about the skills part of the exam. So in most states, there's two parts to the CNA exam. There's skills and written. The skills test tends to cause a lot of anxiety because you have to actually demonstrate in front of somebody who's judging you, and nobody likes that, how to perform certain skills. So I want to kind of break this up into two parts. The first is Prometric testing, and then I'm going to talk about other states. So Prometric is a testing agency for about 13 states, and Prometric is unique because it's completely uniform. Everything is exactly the same. So it doesn't matter whether you're testing in Florida or Texas or New York, the test process and the scenarios are identical. So, and that's kind of what we focus on is Prometric testing because it is so uniform. It's easy to explain. So for Prometric testing, and if you're not sure what state your or what testing agency your state uses, go to my main website, foryourcna.com. About 3/4 of the way down the page, you're going to see a map with little colored pins in it. And those colored pins actually tell you what your testing agency is. So go check that out if you're not real sure who your state uses. But for Prometric, let me pull this up. So let me get this for you. So for Prometric, you're going to get 3 clinical skills. Now, other states, non-Prometric states, may do this a little bit different. There are some states that test 5. Most test 3, but there are some outliers out there. But right now, Prometric, you're going to get 3 clinical skills. Now, this is very scientific. They don't just grab 3 random skills out of a hat and give them to you. The evaluator doesn't get to decide what skills you should have. It's nothing like that. These are all predetermined and they're prepackaged in specific sets. So Prometric uses 11 very detailed care plan sets. So each one of these 11 sets is going to have 3 different skills on it. And there's a formula they have to follow here. So when Prometric is making up these skill sets, on each set is going to be 1 ADL skill. Now, an ADL skill are things you do for yourself every day: bathing, dressing, grooming, feeding, toileting, things you do for yourself every day. So the skills that would fall under ADL are things like feeding a resident in a chair, or assisting a resident with a bedpan, or dressing a resident with a weak arm, hand and nail care, partial bed bath, foot care. So any washing skills, dressing skills, that type of thing. The second category is mobility skills. So this would be ambulate with a gait belt, transfer out of bed and into a wheelchair, turn a patient to supported side lying position, all of the range of motions. So anything that requires moving as the primary focus of the skill, that's going to be tested under a mobility category. And then you have a documentation category. A documentation, and I misspoke here a minute ago. Documentation is anything that requires you to document. So feeding is a documentation skill, not an ADL skill. Sorry, I put that in the wrong category. Feeding is a documentation skill. So anything that requires you to document at the end. So pulse would be a documentation skill. Respirations is going to be a documentation skill. And emptying the drainage bag is a documentation skill. So you will get one of those skills automatically. So one of those you're going to get because it is a tested skill under documentation category. And everybody has to do a documentation skill. Now, something that a lot of people don't know is that blood pressure is not on Prometric's test. So that is, even though it is a documentation skill, yes, it is not a testable skill. So you won't get blood pressure to demonstrate for Prometric testing. Other states do still test on blood pressure, some of them, but Prometric does not. So you've got these three categories. You've got ADL skills, you've got mobility skills, and you have documentation skills. And they're going to pull one skill out of each of those categories to make up the testing care plan set. Now, they also look at how long each one of those skills takes. So this is going to play into how they portion these skills out. So partial bed bath is the longest skill there is. I mean, it is long. It's like it takes somebody with your level of experience like 19 minutes to do. So you've got a ton of time associated with partial bed bath. So we wouldn't want to put partial bed bath with an 8. Uh-oh. Are you there? I think I lost. Okay, there you are. We wouldn't want to put partial bed bath with an ADL skill that's really long too, like a mobility skill that's really long. So something like sideline position, which is a really long skill. And we wouldn't want to put partial bed bath with a really long documentation skill, like feeding is a long documentation skill. So they look at the skill timings for each one of those three to make sure that they're not putting super long skills together in a skill set. So they sat down and created these 11 pre-made skill sets, and that is what you're going to get for testing. The test computer actually picks these skill sets for you. So when you register, you get a Prometric number, and coded into that number is actually the skill sets that you're going to get. So it's all predetermined. So when you go to the testing center, that evaluator doesn't get to decide anything. They already know what skill sets you're going to do. So they're going to give you that particular care plan set. And all they're going to do while you're taking the test is check off the checkpoints that you completed properly. And if you miss a step, it doesn't get a checkpoint. If you do a step, but you do it wrong, it doesn't get a checkpoint. All of those things without checkpoints are called deficiencies. And those deficiencies are what is going to be entered into the computer at the end of your test. And the computer is actually going to decide based on what you missed, whether you passed or failed. So the evaluators don't even get to pass you or fail you. They're simply going to write down what you actually did correctly. Everything else is going to go into the computer, and the computer makes that determination. So when it comes to the state exam, everything is already kind of predetermined before you ever get there. The skill sets have already been bundled together in three that make sense, one out of each category. Make sure that they're not too long. Too long skills together. The evaluator is simply going to check off things that you do properly. Anything else goes in the computer, and the computer is the one that's going to decide based on what you missed, whether you pass or fail. Now, this is the part that gets a lot of people really mixed up. And I hear it a lot, oh, that evaluator failed me for forgetting to do this. It was just one small step and they failed me. And that's not technically correct. The evaluator did not fail you. The evaluator simply checked off what you did. So you not doing that step when they put it into the computer decided that was a pretty important step. And because you missed it, that's going to have a negative impact on the patient. See, one of the things that most testing students don't understand is that the test is not about you. It's not. Never will be, never has been. That test is about the patient. So when the evaluators are grading, they're actually paying attention to the patient. They're looking at how well informed did you keep the patient? Was the patient kept safely in the middle of the bed at all times? Was the patient overly exposed during this skill? Did you maintain privacy for the patient? So everything is going to be graded with the patient in mind. So the things that you miss, they are judged based on the impact that that step had on the patient. So if you forget to put a towel over somebody's chest when you're brushing their teeth, they're going to get toothpaste all over their clothes. And that's not really a good look for anybody, but it's not dangerous, right? Nobody's going to die because they have toothpaste on their clothes. But if you forget to put the head of the bed up when you're brushing teeth, well, that changes things significantly because now you're trying to brush teeth with a patient in a lying position, which is a choking hazard. So the potential consequence to the patient is much higher for forgetting to raise the bed. So let's say you miss that particular step, forgetting to raise the bed, even though you only missed one thing, because of the impact on the patient, it's going to be a big thing. Now, the person that forgot to put the towel over the chest, they also missed one thing, but it's relatively minor in the impact it has on the patient. So it wouldn't be as detrimental to the grade. So when you're taking the skills test, you're going to get 3 skills, one from mobility, one from ADLs, one from documentation. You're going to be told to do those skills in the order listed on the care plan. So in the order. And guys, these are the actual Prometric testing care plans. We have these on our website. They're also in my skills book on page 17. So you can, anybody that has a skills book, you can take a look at those. But you're going to get that care plan set. And then any step you don't do properly, anything that you miss is going to go into the computer as a deficiency, and that deficiency is going to the impact of that is going to be determined by how important that was to the patient. And that's how your grade is determined. I hope that helps you guys kind of understand a little bit about the testing process and how the skills are selected. Now, there was one more question that I wanted to address really quickly that came up in my YouTube channel. And Jay Money asks regarding the bedpan skill, do you need to step out of the room and come back in during the test? And this is actually a pretty important question. So during the test, I see all of you guys in here. Hi, I'm going to get to all of you in just one second. But during the test, you are in an enclosed room. So it's a room with a door, and there's, the only people in there is you who's being tested, your patient who is another person that's about to be tested, and the evaluator. In Florida, we have 2. Everywhere else has 1. But those are the only people in the room, and it's closed off from everybody else. So there really isn't anywhere for you to go. In a clinical setting, okay, so let's talk about clinical now, different from testing. In a clinical setting, people probably aren't going to be able to go if you're standing right there. You require a little bit of privacy. Most people do, to be able to use the restroom. So if you put somebody on a bedpan and you're standing there going, come on, let's go, hurry up, they're not going to be able to go effectively. Now, if you just step on the other side of the curtain, again, you may not be visible, but they still know you're there, and that takes the whole privacy thing out of it. So again, they may not be able to go effectively. So in a clinical setting, in order for a patient to use a bedpan effectively, you really do need to wash your hands and leave the room, making sure they have the call light to let you know when they're done. And then when they hit the call light, you come back in and take care of the bedpan. But for the test, there's nowhere for you to go. There are no other patients to take care of. You can't leave the testing room. There's nowhere to go. And for the test, the person playing the patient is another testing candidate. So they're remaining fully clothed. they're not actively using the bedpan, right? This is a simulation. So you're just going to step on the other side of the curtain and wait. And you're going to tell them, let me know when you're done. And then when they say, I'm done, you're going to come back around the curtain. So we're kind of demonstrating that we would leave, that we're leaving the bedside. We're providing privacy for them to be able to use, but there's nowhere to go. Now, this is where the big difference is for this skill between clinical life and testing. Okay. So what I just said is, in a clinical setting, you're actually going to wash your hands and leave. For the test, you're just going to move on the other side of the curtain because you are not actively leaving the room. The test does not require that you wash your hands. Now, remember, when you leave a skill, you always have to leave with clean hands. So if you're leaving the patient's area, you've got to wash your hands. Well, for the test, we're not leaving the patient area. So we don't have to wash our hands at that point for the test, but understand you do in a clinical setting. So that's going to be a differentiation between the test and a clinical setting. There's nowhere for you to go. So because you can't leave the bedside, you don't have to wash your hands. But in a clinical setting, you would be leaving the bedside. Therefore, you would be washing your hands. I hope that kind of helps understand the difference between testing and clinical for bedpan. Okay, so it is a little bit different. So let's see who's here today. Hi, Miss Fate. Hi, Caleb. Caleb says, hello, Miss Patty. I passed my CNA exam on Monday. What are the best steps to get my license? Well, congratulations, Caleb. Great job. We're super proud of you and welcome to healthcare. So to get your license, this is completely dependent on your state. Now, I'm not real sure where you're at, but in Florida, your blue card will actually be mailed to you within about a week. You'll actually get your physical blue card in a week. In the meantime, you can look it up online. Just go into any search engine, type Florida CNA license lookup, and it'll take you to the site where you can look up and get your license number, which is what you'll need to start applying. Other states handle this a little bit differently. And there's some states that don't give you a certification at all. You're registered in a state agency, but you don't have like a piece of paper that you can show saying, yes, I am certified. They don't give you a card or a certification thing. Some states do give you a certification card like Florida, but it may take them a long time to process it. And in that case, you may just have to wait a little while. But once you get certified, if your state gives you some sort of physical certification card, it will be provided to you, depending on how long that state takes to process those registrations. Now, the thing is, you really don't need your card. It's a nice thing to have, okay, but it's not necessary, because just because you've got that blue card doesn't mean that the employer is automatically going to believe you, because everybody has access to computers and programs, and you can create a fake blue card or certification anytime. So the process is, when you go to an employer and you have your blue card, you give them a copy of it, and that's all well and good. That employer has to take another step, and they have to contact the actual CNA registry in your state and make sure that you are in fact currently certified and that there's no disciplinary action against you. Because just because you have that certification card doesn't mean that there wasn't a disciplinary action taken against you. So let me give you an example. Let's say that we have a CNA who got caught abusing a patient and was fired from a job. Now, they still have their certification. They were fired from a job. Now, that job reported it to the Board of Nursing that we fired this person for improper contact with the residents. And the Board of Nursing will get around to whatever disciplinary action they're going to take. But in the meantime, you're out looking for a job. You still have your certification. So you go to the next employer, you say, I am a CNA, I want a job here. And if they take that on face value, they have no idea that there is a disciplinary action pending against you. So the employers have to, when they hire you, check with the registry to make sure that you are not only certified, but also clear and able to work. So, Caleb, to get your certification, there's really no extra step you have to take. Just wait for it to come in the mail if your state provides it. But you can look up your own certification number if you're in Florida and use that to get a job. Otherwise, you just go apply for jobs and they will take that extra step to verify your the required certification that you need for that. I hope that helps. Debbie says, hi, Miss Patty, Jamaica in the house. Oh, thank you. I'm so glad that you found us. Jamaica is a beautiful country. I've been there on cruise ships and it's gorgeous. So enjoy your paradise. But we're so glad that you came to see us today. Land says, good afternoon. Hi, Blue. Hey, Blue. Sharon says, hi, Miss Patty. Hi, everyone. I did my exams yesterday and passed. Oh, congratulations, Sharon. We're super, super proud of you. Sharon says your online sessions, videos, lessons, etc., were extremely helpful. Thank you very much. Well, Sharon, we're very, very grateful to be part of your journey. Thank you so much for including us, and we wish you well in your career. Hopefully, you keep coming back on Thursdays and hanging out with us. Giali says, thank you, Miss Patty. Thank you for the video you shared. It helped me a lot. I passed the CNA exam last Saturday. Congratulations. Oh, lots of people today to congratulate. Girl in Town says, good afternoon. Sophie says, Miss Patty, I'm watching you from Kenya. Oh, how amazing. A lot of international people today. Welcome, Sophie. Muriel says, good morning, Miss Patty, watching from the Philippines, international. I'd like to ask about the exam. Do they have to be in the U.S. to take the CNA exam? That's a great question, Muriel. So the way this works is that in America, in the U.S., every state has their own testing processes. So let's say that you want to come over from the Philippines, which is where you're at. So you want to come over for the Philippines, and let's say you go to California because it's a little bit closer. So you fly into California. Well, in California, you can't take the CNA exam unless you've gone through one of their training programs. So you wouldn't be eligible to test in California unless you go through one of those schools. Now, Florida is a little bit different. Let's say you fly from Philippines to Florida. You can challenge the state exam in Florida, so you don't have to go through the school to be eligible to test. So in America, in the US, it's a little bit different every state's going to handle that a little bit differently. Now, the question I think that you're asking is, do you have to be physically present here to be able to take the exam? And the answer is yes, because in the United States, every state except for one requires a clinical test. So you actually have to physically be here at the testing center performing the skills for an evaluator to grade you. Now, even in Illinois, where they don't require the physical clinical test, you still have to be at one of their testing centers to take the written. So no matter how you slice it, in order to get certified in any state of the US, you have to physically be in that state during testing. I hope that helps. Sophie says your videos are the best. Thank you. Oh, thank you, Sophie. Blue says some steps that are missed are automatically failed. Others you can miss a lot of little things and pass. Yes, that is absolutely true, Blue. And that's because what they're grading is the impact on that patient missing that step would have. So one of the things that gets missed a lot is documentation. And I get it. I understand why. So let's say that you took the pulse and you did your, you get your care plan. It tells you to take a pulse, and you put the care plan down and you do your opening. Knock, knock, knock. Hi, Miss Jones. My name is Patty. I'm your CNA today. I need to get your vital signs. Is that okay? I'm going to close your curtain, go wash my hands, come back to the bed, find the pulse, pick the starting point, count for 1 full minute, say stop, do your closing. Thank you very much, Miss Jones. Is there anything else I can get for you while I'm here? Are you comfortable? Bed is in the low position. Environment is clean. Open the curtain. Here's your call light. Go wash your hands. You get all of that done, right? That's a whole lot of steps. All of that done. And you're over at the sink washing your hands, and you get done. You go, okay, my skill is done. And you completely forgot to document because there were so many steps in there that you're trying to remember, and that happens all the time. But let's look at the impact that that would have on the patient, right? So if you're a CNA and you're asked to take a pulse, this is not busy work. This isn't something that we give you to do just to do, right? It's not busy work. This is information that we need. We either need this information to give a medication, or to evaluate the effectiveness of a medication, or to get a patient ready for a medical test, or to evaluate their current health status after an event, like, we had them walking, or they had a test, or whatever the case may be. This is a measurement that we ask you to take because we need it. So if you go in and you take a pulse and you don't write it down anywhere, now the team doesn't have the information they need to be able to evaluate the patient or treat the patient. And then that's going to have a consequence on the patient. So forgetting to document is a really big deal because of the effect on the patient. And a lot of people don't get that during the test. They'll say, things like, oh my gosh, I missed one step. Why could, they know I took the pulse. Why couldn't they let it slide? Well, they can't let it slide because there's going to be a consequence to that patient. So it's really kind of important that we understand that when they're grading us, it is not about you. It's about the effect what you're doing has on the patient. And if you can kind of rearrange your thinking during the test, you will find that the test becomes much easier, and you're focusing on the things that are super important because of the effect that they have on the patient. I hope that helps you a little bit, but that's basically what we kind of have to pay attention to. And that's why one step can automatically fail you, and several steps you can miss and still pass. And it may not make any sense to you as the student, but it does to the testing process. Sophie says, Sunshine is in the house. Hi, Sunshine. Benti says, tuned in from Kenya. Oh, wow. I've got a couple people from Kenya. How exciting. Thank you so much. Emanuela says, hi, Miss Patty. Been a while. How have I been? I have been fantastic. So this week I had a great opportunity. I actually went over to the other side of Florida, and just south of Jacksonville, and I participated in the Florida Association of Career and Technical Education conference. And this was a lot of fun. I got to connect with instructors and administrators that uh, kind of oversee the career and technical education programs at the high school and college levels. And it was a lot of fun. It was really interesting for me to be able to connect with other instructors and get their feedback, where they're struggling in the classroom and what their students seem to be struggling with. But it was really fun because I had the card game. You guys have heard about the card game, but I had the card game all spread out on the table. And that is what caused everybody to stop as they were walking by, right? The card game, because it's so unique. It's a way of students to be able to practice and learn without it being that boring textbook read and memorize type of thing. So the card game got tons of exposure this week. But I am fantastic because I had that opportunity to be able to connect with other instructors, and there's a lot of support and, a lot of good that comes of being able to connect with other people that understand your struggles. And that's what I really like about this with you guys, is it's an opportunity for you guys to come together as a community, as the CNA community, and form connections and get the support that you need. And a lot of times you find that you leave much more uplifted than you came in, just because you get that support and you're around people that just kind of get it, right? So thank you for asking, but I am fantastic, Emanuela. Glad for you to come back and see us. Cynthia says, good afternoon. Ganael says, hi, Miss Patty. I had 3 since I registered for the board exam till now. They don't send the date for the exam. So 3 weeks. Okay. So you registered 3 weeks ago and you haven't got your test date. This can take a little bit of time because and I'm not sure what state you're in, Ganal, but this can take a little bit of time because when you go to get your background check and then you apply for the test, the testing agency, whether it's Prometric or Pearson or HD Master or whatever, they have to go get that background check, put it with your application, and then that goes off to the Board of Nursing. And then the Board of Nursing has to physically review that and give you the okay to test. So this is a long process, and it can take 2 to 3 weeks, sometimes a little bit longer in high volume times, to be able to get you approved for testing. But if it's been 3 weeks, I would certainly call your testing agency, whether it's Prometric or Pearson or HD Master or whoever it is that you're testing through. I would call them and just ask if there's an issue, and kind of find out where you are in that process. Let them know it's been 3 weeks, you haven't heard anything. And this is a little bit concerning because if they don't have the right email address on file, like if there was a typo in the email, you won't get your, the communication. So you really want to call and follow up with them and just make sure that they've got all of the right information for you for your contact. So Yardley says, good afternoon, Miss Patty. Hi, Yardley. Sharon says, you're welcome. And yes, I will continue to watch. Oh, thank you, Sharon. I appreciate that. Hey, you guys, if you could do me a huge favor, if you haven't already, can you hit that subscribe button for me? I'm trying to get my subscribers up a little bit. We are so close to getting that YouTube plaque for 100,000 subscribers. I mean, we are so close. I need all the subscribers I can get. So if you guys, if I'm bringing you value, if you could just hit that subscribe button for me and get your friends and family to subscribe, that way we can, we can get up to that 100,000 mark. I mean, that's amazing. Who would have thought a couple of years ago when I started this that we would be connecting with so many people? It really is amazing. And I am so grateful to all of you for allowing me to get up here and talk each week. This is so much fun for me. So Nikara says, hi, Patty, first time here. Well, welcome. I start watching your videos last week. They're so informative and great for starters. Thank you so much. Keep on doing the good work. God bless you. Well, thank you so much. That's why we do this, is we want to make sure that you are well prepared for the test, but you're also well prepared for the workplace as well, because it doesn't do anybody any good if you spend all of this time and money and energy getting ready for a test and then you don't function in the workplace well because you spend all of your time getting ready for a test. And the test is just step 1, right? We want to make sure that you're well equipped to work well as a CNA and to enjoy your job as a CNA. And that's a lot of what we're focusing on, is just making sure you got that little bit of extra beyond the test. Janice says hi. Krista says hi. Hi, guys. Emanuela says, great, I need your email address. Emanuela, you can find it on my website. Just go to foryourcna.com. Under contact us, drop me a line there. That goes straight to me. Oh, Janelle, you're in Florida. Okay, yeah. Prometric is who you need to call. If you haven't heard back in 3 weeks, then I would definitely give them a call and try to find out what's going on. And Nikara says, where are you located? We are in Florida. We're just north of Tampa and in Florida, so kind of central Florida. I love it here. I grew up here. It's a beautiful area, but still close enough to everything. So this is a really, really nice place to be. But I travel a lot. I get to see other areas of the country, and we're big cruisers. I love to cruise. I've got one coming up in about 2 months. I'm super excited about that. So we get to see other areas of the world as well, which is really fascinating for me. I love learning about different cultures and different areas. And I really like learning about the healthcare trends in other areas too. And it's really amazing because healthcare really is pretty consistent throughout much of the world. So it really is very fascinating to me because even though languages and cultures and customs, they may all be so completely different, healthcare is kind of the one constant, the one thing that unites all of us. Because, a bed bath is the same whether you're in Kenya or in Florida. So it really is kind of amazing how healthcare can really unite across great distances and great cultures. Pauline says, hi, Miss Patty. Thank you for all you do. Well, thank you for joining us, Pauline. That's it for questions today. Anybody else have any other questions? If you do, kind of pop them in the chat and I'll get to them very quickly. And so one of the things that I want to tell you guys about this week, some changes that have happened in my life anyway, is that I got a virtual assistant and I'm so thankful for her. So this is the first time that I've actually got somebody that can help me with a lot of this tech stuff that I am just no good at. She would be the first to tell you I am no good at this stuff. So one of the things that we're doing is creating email series to go out. So, and I'm doing a lot of writing on these email series. So pay attention to my website. Very, very shortly, we're going to have a contact form up there where you can sign up to get emails from me. And the very first series I'm working on is a testing preparation series. So if you're getting ready for testing and you go onto my website, foryourcna.com, and you're looking at the skills videos, you'll be able to sign up for a free ebook that kind of walks you through the test, but then you're going to get emails every day about a portion of the test that you probably don't know about. So for instance, today we covered about the testing categories, right? So how you have a skill that's going to be assigned from the ADL category, a skill that's going to be assigned from the mobility category, and a skill that's going to be assigned from the documentation category. Well, that was an email that I just wrote right before I came live with you. So a lot of this content that we go over in our lives will be in this email chain as well, with a lot of other content that I just simply don't have time to get to here. And what's really neat about the emails is they come with graphics that help explain what I'm trying to talk about. So if you have a chance, kind of keep an eye out. We'll have a contact form set up in the next week or two. So if you're getting ready to test, or if you just want to subscribe to learn a little bit more about the testing process, make sure that you watch my email for that. But I want to tell you, I just want to tell you just how grateful I am for my virtual assistant. She is the best, and I am so grateful to have her on our team. So, so if you guys can give a little round of applause to my fantastic assistant. So, let's see, what else do we have here? I passed my CNA test yesterday. Couldn't have done it without your videos. Well, congratulations, Kimberly. That is awesome. And Muriel says, what do testing companies usually ask for the examinee before taking the test, like documents? Actually, Muriel, in most states, there are no documents that are required other than you will need a social security number. So if you're coming in from another state and you have like a travel visa or a work visa or something like that, that's actually not required for testing, but a social security number is. So just make sure you have that social security number. Now in Florida, remember, Florida is a challenger state, so you don't have to have a high school diploma or a certificate of completion from anywhere or anything like that. Other states may require that you have a certificate or something to prove that you completed their program, and they'll actually check with the program themselves as well. There's a checks and balances there. But as far as documents, there are very few documents that are required in order to test as a CNA in most states. In fact, most states don't even require a high school diploma to test as a CNA. So documentation is very, very minimal to be able to get into the industry. So let's see here. Carmelane says, hi, Miss Patty. God bless you. And what's your email address? Just go on to my website, foryourcna.com, hit contact us, and just drop me a line. That goes right into my email. Nakara gives us a round of applause for the VA. So great job. All right, guys. So let me get to who passed this week. Now, we've got a lot of people in the chat that I've already congratulated. This is a really, really, really big group for new CNAs. I'm super excited. So Caleb, congratulations to you. I'm just going to go through here real quick and congratulate everybody again. Sharon, congratulations. Giali, congratulations. I hope I didn't miss anybody. Did I miss anybody? I hope I didn't miss anybody. I think that's everybody in the chat. And Derek Bennett dropped by and let us know that they passed the CNA state exam this week. Ethan Myers passed both the clinical and written this week, so congratulations to you. And Brandy, I want to talk about Brandy really quick. And I thought this was just super sweet. So Brandy actually tested back in 2017 and used our videos to pass the test. So this is a long time ago. And she just dropped by this week to thank us and let us know that we were a big part of her journey. And she was able to pass on the first try. And I thought that was super sweet that 5 years later, she's been certified in working as a CNA, but for some reason we came to her mind and she wanted to stop by and thank us for being part of her journey into nursing. So I really wanted to send a thank you out to Brandy. You guys are the reason we do what we do, and we wouldn't have it any other way. So we're very, very grateful to all of you. And we're here to help however we can. So for those of you who are getting ready to test or who test and pass, make sure you drop me a line on any one of my comments, just a regular comment, not a reply to somebody else, a fresh comment, because those are the ones I see quickly. And let us know that you passed the test so we can congratulate you, or that you're getting ready to test so that we can send you some good vibes. So let's send some good vibes out to Jayla Leroy, who's testing soon, Vanetter Bowers, who's also testing soon, Villy Media, who's taking the exam on Thursday, and Marie White is testing on August 3rd. So great vibes out to all of them. We know you're going to do fantastic. Please make sure that you're focused on the patient during the test, not you. And if you haven't already, watch my animated lessons because they'll explain the why behind the how. And Janella Vega, is waiting on results. So we're going to keep our fingers crossed, keep Janella in our thoughts, and hope for the best for Janella. And hopefully she'll come back and let us know that she had a successful attempt and that she's now a CNA. So if you know Janella, make sure you have her come back and let us know how she did. So guys, if there's anything more we can do for you, drop me a line on my contact page. Otherwise, I will see all of you back here on Thursday at 3 for our next live session where we're going to cover another topic related to CNA. And if you've got a topic that you want to suggest, go on any of my videos and drop me a comment. I do read them, and I will pick something to talk about next week as well. So until next time, guys, I hope you have a fantastic week. Do something fun and happy caregiving. Bye.